The Happy Planet Index is an index of human well-being and environmental impact that was introduced by the New Economics Foundation in July 2006. The index is weighted to give progressively higher scores to nations with lower ecological footprints. The index is designed to challenge well-established indices of countries unregistered trademark development, such as gross domestic product and the Human Development Index, which are seen as not taking sustainability into account. In particular, GDP is seen as inappropriate, as the usual ultimate aim of most people is not to be rich, but to be happy and healthy. Furthermore, it is believed that the notion of sustainable development requires a measure of the environmental costs of pursuing those goals. Out of the 178 countries surveyed in 2006, the best-scoring countries were Vanuatu, Colombia, Costa Rica, Dominica, and Panama, although Vanuatu is absent from all later indices. In 2009, Costa Rica was the best-scoring country among the 143 analyzed, followed by the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Guatemala and Vietnam. Tanzania, Botswana and Zimbabwe were featured at the bottom of the list. For the 2012 ranking, 151 countries were compared, and the best-scoring country for the second time in a row was Costa Rica, followed by Vietnam, Colombia, Belize and El Salvador. The lowest-ranking countries in 2012 were Botswana, Chad and Qatar. Methodology: the HPI is based on general utilitarian principles that most people want to live long and fulfilling lives, and the country which is doing the best is the one that allows its citizens to do so, whilst avoiding infringing on the opportunity of future people and people in other countries to do the same. In effect, it operationalizes the IUCN's call for a metric capable of measuring the production of human well-being per unit of extraction of or imposition upon nature. Human well-being is operationalized as happy life years. Extraction of or imposition upon nature is proxied for using the ecological footprint per capita, which attempts to estimate the amount of natural resources required to sustain a given country's lifestyle. A country with a large per capita ecological footprint uses more than its fair share of resources, both by drawing resources from other countries, and also by causing permanent damage to the planet which will impact future generations. As such, the HPI is not a measure of which are the happiest countries in the world. Countries with relatively high levels of life satisfaction, as measured in surveys, are found from the very top to the very bottom of the rank order. The HPI is best conceived as a measure of the environmental efficiency of supporting well-being in a given country. Such efficiency could emerge in a country with a medium environmental impact and very high well-being, but it could also emerge in a country with only mediocre well-being, but very low environmental impact. Each country unregistered trademark SHPI value is a function of its average subjective life satisfaction, life expectancy at birth, and ecological footprint per capita. The exact function is a little more complex, but conceptually it approximates multiplying life satisfaction and life expectancy, and dividing that by the ecological footprint. Most of the life satisfaction data is taken from the World Values Survey and World Database of Happiness, but some is drawn from other surveys, and some is estimated using statistical regression techniques. Views: much criticism of the index has been due to commentators falsely understanding it to be a measure of happiness, when it is in fact a measure of the ecological efficiency of supporting well-being. Aside from that, criticism has focused on the following: that the HPI completely ignores issues like political freedom, human rights and labor rights. That the World Values Survey covers only a minority of the world's nations and is only done every 5 years. As a result, much of the data for the index must come from other sources, or is estimated using regressions. General suspicion of subjective measures of well-being. That the ecological footprint is a controversial concept with many criticisms. The index was criticized for weighting carbon footprint too heavily, to the point that in the 2006 index Americans would have needed to have been universally happy, and have had a life expectancy of 439, to equal Vanuatu's score. Nevertheless, the HPI and its components have been considered in political circles. The ecological footprint, championed by the WWF, is widely used by both local and national governments, as well as supranational organizations such as the European Commission. The HPI itself was cited in 2007 in the British Conservative Party as a possible substitute for GDP. A 2007 review of progress indicators produced by the European Parliament lists the following pros and cons to using the HPI as a measure of national progress. Pros: considers the actual Euro unregistered trademark of economic activity in the form of life satisfaction and longevity, combines well-being and environmental aspects, simple and easily understandable scheme for calculating the index, comparability of results, data online available, although some data gaps remain, mixture of a Euro-soft unregistered trademark and a Euro-hard unregistered trademark criteria. Takes into account FEOPLI unregistered trademark's well-being and resource use of countries. Cons: a Euro happiness, a Euro unregistered trademark or a Euro life satisfaction, a Euro unregistered trademark are very subjective and personal. Cultural influences and complex impact of policies on happiness. Confusion of name: index is not a measure of happiness but rather measure of environmental efficiency of supporting well-being in a given country. International rankings: 2012 ranking, 9 out of the 10 top countries are located in the Caribbean basin, despite high levels of poverty. The ranking is led by Costa Rica for the second time in a row, and its lead is due to its very high life expectancy, which is second highest in the Americas, and higher than the U.S., experienced well-being higher than many richer nations and a per capita footprint one-third the size of the U.S. Among the top 40 countries by overall HPI score, only 4 countries have a GDP per capita of over $15,000. The highest ranking OECD country is Israel in 15th place, and the top Western European nation is Norway in 29th place, just behind New Zealand in 28th. Among the top 5 world's biggest economies in terms of GDP, Japan has the highest ranking in 45th place, followed by Germany in 46th, France is placed 50th, China 60, and the US is ranked 105, mainly due to its environmental footprint of 7.2, the 7th highest of all countries rated for the 2012 index. 2012 Happy Planet Index, 2006 and 2009 rankings. See also, World Happiness Report, Social Progress Index, Satisfaction with Life Index, Genuine Progress Indicator/Index of Sustainable Economic Welfare, Gross National Happiness, Happiness Economics, Philosophy of Happiness, Notes. External links: The Happy Planet Index, official website of the New Economics Foundation.